A big game for an even bigger cause. You are watching the SEC on ESPN. We could not be more excited to bring you a top 10 matchup. The number 1 team in the nation, the South Carolina Gamecocks, welcome in number 8, NC State. Both of these teams coming off stellar campaigns. Courtney Lau alongside national championship winning head coach Carolyn Peck. And Peck, the last time we saw South Carolina, they were at the top of the women's basketball world.
Ranked number 1 in the country. They've been ranked number 1 since January. In the 2019-20 season, they went 32-1, undefeated in the SEC. They won the SEC regular season and the SEC tournament. Now, they had a stellar starting lineup, 2 seniors. You had Kiki Herbert-Harrigan and Ty Harris, who both went in the top 10 in the WNBA draft. But the cupboard is not bare. Why? Because they've got a super sophomore in Aaliyah Boston. She was the unanimous freshman of the year last season and expecting a big campaign in her sophomore season.
NC State had a great year, too. They won the ACC tournament for the first time since 1991, and look how much of that team is coming back.
Well, this team is one that won the ACC tournament, losing only 1 starter. Now, they graduated 4 seniors, but they have 4 starters coming back. That's 73% of their scoring, or 5 of their top 6 scores. So Wes Moore's got to be excited. He's got a lot of experience that's coming back for him this season.
You see number 33, Elisa Cunane. That is also one of those starters who's returning. She was an All-American selection last season, All-ACC first team, and she's going to be battling with Aaliyah Boston down low tonight.
These are going to be 2 of the top centers in the country going head-to-head. And we've got it, the first game on ESPN2 for women's basketball this season. Let's have a good one.
South Carolina 3-0 to start this young season. NC State 2-0. Both teams in the top 10 in the nation. South Carolina will start with the ball first. You see Destiny Henderson running the point for South Carolina. She stepped into the role that Ty Harris left when she went to the WNBA.
And she brought great experience. She could have been a starter, but she'd only have 5 spots last season. So she's comfortable in this starting role. And they are
Boston
right away.
With an early rebound. Putback won't go.
This game's going to be interesting to watch. Battle of the boards. We did not talk about Jada Boyd, who has been starting for the Wolfpack, not able to start in this game because of injury. That makes North Carolina State a little smaller. So now, how will NC State be able to battle South Carolina on the glass?
Yeah, Raina Perez, number 2 in the red jersey, steps into the starting lineup because Jada Boyd is out with that meniscus injury. They are hoping to get her back pretty soon, but not available tonight. South Carolina starting 5, the new faces from last year, Destiny Henderson, who we told you about, and Victoria Saxton working down low, and she's in the starting lineup. Zaya Cook off the screen at the free throw line. Rebound comes into the hands of NC State.
Yeah, both these teams starting out a little tight, and you can understand the level of competition that they've played. No disrespect to the early games, but these 2 teams going against each other, very similar to what they're going to see in SEC and ACC games.
Wow, what a lane for Jakia Brown-Turner.
South Carolina still trying to find a way. You see a double team coming. They're taking away the easy passing lane inside to Aaliyah Boston. That time she's called for 3 seconds inside.
NC State just had an incredible year last year. It was a shame we didn't get to see either of these teams compete in an NCAA tournament, but as we told you, they won their conference championship. The Wolfpack had 25 or more wins for the 3rd season in a row and a program record 14 conference wins last year.
Well, Wes Moore felt like his team was really playing well down the stretch and could have made a lot of noise in the NCAA tournament had it been played.
Cunane misses a couple. Gamecocks go inside to Victoria Saxton. Bree Beal for the jumper. It's been an early scoring drought for South Carolina.
Well, NC State has done a terrific job of crowding the paint. There's a lot of traffic in that painted area inside, and so what South Carolina's going to have to do, they're going to have to knock down some perimeter jumpers before NC State is going to come out and open things up.
This is Reina Perez. Pulls up in front of Bree Beal, misses the shot. Beal drops it in. Bree Beal with the first points for the #1 team.
Courtney, you know I love her game. I call it bully ball. She is so strong and has done a fantastic job in the offseason of getting even stronger and quicker. So that's going to make her even more dangerous on the floor.
Brown Turner looking for space on Beal. Big hand in her face, and South Carolina comes out with it. And there'll be a foul on NC State. South Carolina obviously had a fantastic year last season. They've carried that over into this early portion of the 2020 campaign. They have won 29 straight games.
And Dawn Staley doesn't schedule a slack schedule. She brings on tough competition even in the non-conference. They have already played South Dakota and Gonzaga when they were over in South Dakota. And those two games were very challenging, I think, helping to prepare them as this season evolves.
Boston scored on the other end for South Carolina. There's Kayla Jones. And they'll swing it over to Kai Crutchfield, the point guard who's taken Ace Koenig's spot for the Wolfpack.
I'm watching the battle of Victoria Saxton. Elisa Canane still not getting even a look inside.
Zaya Cook. She just finds a way to get to the basket.
She is that kind of player. She came up, she's hobbling a little bit, but this is a player for South Carolina that's going to bring you some wow moments. I hope she's okay.
She's on the preseason watch list for all three of the Major Player of the Year awards. There's Elisa Cunane. The kick out to Destiny Henderson.
That was a good rhythm three.
Destiny Henderson, they call her Henny. She'll reset here for the Gamecocks. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Cook at the elbow. Short.
In South Carolina, just the body control of Aaliyah Boston, and then the drive of Zaya Cook. When you talk about paint points for South Carolina, more times than not, it's not coming from the center and the forwards. The guards are contributing more of the 80+% of the paint points that South Carolina scores inside.
Victoria Saxton pokes it away. Well, it is V Week here at ESPN, and this week, this game means a little bit more to head coach Dawn Staley. That when we come back. Well, unfortunately, cancer has touched most of us in some way, and that's the same for South Carolina head coach Dawn Staley's family earlier this year, Carolyn.
Dawn's sister, Tracy, was diagnosed with leukemia in May. Dawn is so thankful to the staff at the hospital there in Columbia, South Carolina, but she and her sister went for treatment in Durham, North Carolina at Duke. The doctors came to know that Tracy was going to need a bone marrow transplant. The Staley family was fortunate. Lawrence Staley, Tracy's brother and Dawn's brother, was an 100% match. And I'll tell you, if there is anybody that understands the value of cancer research, it is Coach Dawn Staley.
The research that goes into cancer research, it's quite incredible. when it really doesn't hit you as close as it hit us as a family with my sister Tracy, you hear it, but you don't really hear it. You know, you sometimes donate because you're hearing it and other people are doing it. But when you actually have an experience like my sister and our family had from March until now, you really understand how important research is. I mean, and I thank you for bringing light to it, because, you know, it's something that rocked our family, but because of my sister's strength and her outlook, it put all of us at ease.
Carolyn, I know both you and I have personal stories. I lost my father to cancer back in 2017. It was a very rare form, and my hope is that the V Foundation, with the donations that they receive, they can find a cure for that type of cancer so that somebody in the future won't have the same experience that my family had.
Well, Courtney, my mom was diagnosed with colon cancer, and it was grade 4. But because of research, and she was given an experimental drug, because of that experimental drug, my mother is here to this day. So the value of donating to continue the cancer research, it's much needed.
So, Peck, we have teamed up. Carolyn Peck and I are going to each make a personal donation to the V Foundation. For every 3-point shot made tonight, we will be donating $50 each per shot. If you want to make your own donation, even if it's just $1, that can help in so many ways. You can give at v.org/donate. 100% of your donation goes to cancer research.
And you're talking about any amount. When Tracy was put into the hospital, one of the things that Dawn and her sister had when they were kids, or your birthday, or whether it be just a card that you would get as a gift and there was money in it, they wouldn't even read the card. They would shake it and try to guess how much money was in it. And so to raise Tracy's spirits, Dawn tweeted and asked people to send cards and said, you can put a penny, a quarter, a dime, whatever, and Tracy could guess what it was. Well, you know that after 2 days, 2,500 to 3,000 people sent cards, and that accumulated a donation of $2,000 that Dawn Staley donated to the Leukemia Society in Columbia, South Carolina.
And there's our first 3-pointer. That's a total of $100 going to the V Foundation. So we'll keep track of that for you tonight in this matchup.
Let it rain. Let it rain.
Let
Both
it
teams,
rain.
shoot it up.
A top 10 battle here in Columbia, South Carolina, as number 1 South Carolina hosting the number 8 team in the nation, NC State. It's been a slow start for both of these teams, but Kayla Jones, the first one to sink a long ball.
Moving the ball around, and that's one of the things early in this season that NC State has done well. They have made a total of 19 threes in their first 2 games.
Destiny Henderson. Letitia Meehier, number 15, and White has checked in, goes right to the rack.
Meehier, she broke loose from the knee brace she wore last season, and she is getting back true to form of how she was before she tore that ACL.
Crutchfield will give it back to Kanane, who's got Boston way outside. Both of those bigs do have some outside range. Brown Turner with the pull-up. Gets her own rebound. And I think there might have been a shot clock issue. Or a foul called. Did they call a foul on Crutchfield? No, it was a shot clock issue. They've reset the shot clock to 3 seconds. NC State ball underneath. Meehier comes out with it. She's got Lily Grissett running the floor. South Carolina loves the transition game.
One of the things that made South Carolina so good last season was their defense and how they created offense from their defense, whether it be off block shots, off rebounds, or getting steals, and then scoring in transition.
That's a travel called on NC State.
So the outlet, and I'm here looking up the floor for Lily Grissett. And Lily Grissett is that player that is really, she's good enough to start, but has accepted her role in being that spark coming in off the bench. And Dawn Staley cannot compliment her enough about how pleased she is to coach a player who is willing to be that utility player, play whatever position that Dawn Staley needs her to play.
You bet Coach Staley is going to find a place for her on the floor. Kanane will try to pop the three. That's definitely a part of her game. Zaya Cook in traffic and just shut down by Jakia Brown-Turner.
Hey, Courtney, remember we talked to Wes Moore, and he said that this was a butt game. And we all looked at him like, what?
Yeah.
And he said, no. What I'm saying is you've got to get your butt back in transition. You've got to get your butt down defensively and stay between your player and the basket. And then when the shot goes up against South Carolina, you've got to put your backside on somebody so that they don't get second chance opportunities.
Love it. Rebecca Dumika will check in for NC State.
Hope it was okay to put in those terms, but I thought that would just, I was quoting Coach Wes Moore.
I love it. I'm all right with it. That's exactly what it is.
Hey, we're partners. That's why we teamed up on these three-pointers.
So they get a foul on Aaliyah Boston there. First one on Boston. Crutchfield brings it to the near side. Almost had it swiped away by Grissett, and they're going to get her for carrying.
Well, Crutchfield has moved back to the point guard position with Ace Koenig last season. Crutchfield was able to play more of the wing, that three-point shooting role. Now she's having to do more of handling the ball. And she said she was recruited to NC State to be a combo guard, and she had played some point guard in high school. But, you know, when you get to this level and you get comfortable playing off ball, that's a huge responsibility when you've got to run the point.
Letitia Me here working in the paint. Six straight points for the Gamecocks. Ten seconds on the shot clock, and a foul is called.
Letitia Me here is a player that has really found her confidence, her strength, her balance, now that she's been able to be released from wearing the knee brace from last season. And I saw a clip from her in high school where she was able to, she dunked at 15. So that just tells you the athleticism that Letitia Meeher has.
The previous foul was called on Lily Grissett as Dumika tries to shake off that defender. South Carolina playing some tight defense. Here's Brown-Turner. Crutchfield traveled.
I really feel like NC State is missing Jada Boyd, the sophomore, who had been fantastic early in this season with her athleticism, her speed. You know, Kai Crutchfield, she referred to her as a monster.
Last second shot won't go. South Carolina ends the quarter scoring the last 6 points here in Columbia. Jim Valvano and Kay Yao, of course, both head coaches in their day at NC State. Both unfortunately lost their battle to cancer, but we have not forgotten them at all. That fight continues, especially during V Week.
Tremendous motivators. I remember Coach Valvano talking about if you laugh, you think, you cry. That's a full day. And then Coach Yao, my favorite quote from her is, when life kicks you, Let it kick you forward.
Start of the second quarter here in Columbia, a top 10 matchup. Courtney Lyle and Carolyn Peck with you. It's been a little sloppy in that opening quarter for both of these teams.
Well, the man-to-man defense has been stifling, really making it hard to get easy paint points in the half court. South Carolina's had a lot of success running in transition.
Letitia Ami here. Wow, she's come off the bench and been a spark.
She's been a spark all preseason, and it's been plays like that. She is playing with so much confidence. And when you feel good on both feet, you feel good in attacking the basket, and you play with that kind of strength and determination to the rack.
Ami here joined this team back in January of 2019. She was having to rehab from an injury, was the 10th overall prospect. And then last year, as we mentioned, Peck, she had that big knee brace on, but she is just a totally different player without the knee brace this year.
And I think that the work that she has done with the strength and conditioning coach at South Carolina has, when you are strong, you have a great deal of confidence.
Henderson gets blocked in the paint by Ellie Supfin. Crutchfield takes the long ball, and it's short. Wow, NC State really struggling. They came into this game averaging over 100 points per game.
You know what I love about Ami here is how she can rebound it and bring it. All 5 players on the floor can do that right now for South Carolina.
Ami here again. Gets her own rebound. Now in just a forest of NC State Wolfpack. Cunane with the rebound.
Yeah, Cunane she's got to exercise her will. She's got to be an offensive impact. Right now, just playing on the perimeter, she's not demanding the basketball.
Ami here. Can she show us her range? No, it bobbles out.
Now, how much did Dawn Staley light up in talking about Ami here yesterday? She's excited about her improvement.
Ami here has improved her vertical, not just an inch or two, but 6 inches.
She's improved her vertical and her strength. You know, Dawn Staley told us that Destiny Henderson has been the strongest player on the team for the last 3 seasons, and it was finally Ami here who overtook some of those testing categories from Destiny Henderson. And Destiny said, that's okay, I held it for 3 years. She feels good about she's still got a legacy that she can hold on to.
Yeah. This is Destiny Littleton, the transfer from Texas, will give it up to Anaya Russell, the only freshman on South Carolina's team. Look at the ball movement for the Gamecocks here. And they're going to run out of time.
Well, the defense for NC State just rotating in, and you see the collapse of just about all 5 red jerseys collapsing in the paint, trying to take away the paint points of South Carolina.
Kayla Jones, stuffed by Ami here.
Ooh. Shot blocking. That's what we used to see Kiki Herbert-Harrigan do last year. Letitia Ami here taking over the SWAT. Could she be the next Mad Kiki?
Perez in trouble on the baseline. Dribbles out of it. Dumica misses everything. Just got it off in time, but it won't go in, and South Carolina has a player that lost a shoe. It was Lily Grissett. She's back in action. Russell driving. South Carolina's missed its last 7 shots.
I think that the offense, the fluidity of the offense for both teams, I think there's a little bit of, you can tell, the lack of not having the summer to really get things nailed down. And that's going to just be a work in progress as they work through this season.
Brown Turner finds a little room. Up off the window she goes. I remember no exhibition games, no closed scrimmages with another team. That was all eliminated due to COVID. And the season was pushed back a couple of weeks.
You know, these teams also don't have their practice players. They normally have another squad, usually of male practice players to go against, and most teams don't have that right now. Now, the NCAA did allow for managers to practice with the teams, but it's just not like having that full squad that can learn your opponent's offenses or how they're going to guard you defensively to prepare for blocking shots, the extension, the speed to go against.
Aaliyah Boston checks back in for South Carolina. Bree Beal at the line misses the first.
The free throw shooting for South Carolina to start the season so far, they're shooting 62%. That's an area that Don Staley's got to want to see improve.
Perez with Zaya Cook right on her. Crutchfield dishes out to Dumica.
But just the size of Aaliyah Boston dominating on the glass for South Carolina.
Cook at the point right now. Here's a me here. And they get her on the travel.
Yeah, she got happy feet. She was trying to Euro step off both feet. Got a little tangled up right there.
Four turnovers now for South Carolina. NC State has 5 turnovers midway through the second quarter here in Columbia. Crutchfield for 2. Zaya Cook pulls up, and it rolls out. Wolfpack will push back the other way. And Kayla Jones drops it in.
The best offense for both these two teams have been transition. It's not been real clean, their ability to execute in the half court.
Really sloppy start. Both teams shooting a very low percentage from the field, in the 20s for both. Russell's shot is blocked. Great decision by Perez. It's Kayla Jones.
Here come the Wolfpack. They've been able now to create offense from their defense. Pushing in transition, not relying on just setting up in the half court.
Meanwhile, South Carolina has missed its last 9 shots, and look at Perez get in the passing lane. Layup. An 8-1 run for NC State.
Turnovers by South Carolina. NC State able to convert.
Cook at the top of the key. Dumica. The extra effort from Jones. Turnaround. No. And timeout called. A close one here in Columbia. NC State on top 17-16.
Jesse Riggs and Coach Andy Landers coming up on the E-Trade halftime report. We'll talk about some of the other really good teams in college basketball, plus some of the challenges of coaching during COVID. And Coach, Speaking of challenges, this game off to a tough start, but what did you like?
I like that both teams were prepared for each other inside. They were excellent defensively inside, creating problems in the paint, scoring the basketball.
We will have much more for you in the E-Trade halftime report. Courtney and Carolyn.
Kelsey, Coach Landers, thank you so much. First half has been a little sloppy. Look at Aaliyah Boston, just 2 points. And, Peck, we were just talking about what NC State is doing defensively to slow them down in the paint.
Well, it's a little bit of a gap defense, and you see any time that the look to go inside to Aaliyah Boston, there's 2 Wolfpack players that are paying close attention and showing that a double team is going to come.
Kayla Jones tries to save it into the hands of Bree Beal. Doesn't have any help. Amihir comes out of nowhere. Perez, pull up. 8 straight points for NC State.
NC State is playing South Carolina kind of ball. They're running in transition, and they are going full speed to the basket. Really, forget about setting up or running a secondary or a half-court offense. Just continue to put your head down and motor to the rim.
Boston immediately double-teamed. Can't score over it. Jones kicks it out to Brown-Turner. Kanane inside. Second opportunity. Will draw the foul on Amihir.
You see Kanane battling inside, and she has worked so hard in this offseason to really get stronger.
Well, we'll have the second game of the 19th annual Women's Jimmy V Classic tomorrow at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on ESPN and the ESPN app. Number 5 Louisville taking on number 20 DePaul in Bubbleville at Mohegan Sun Arena in Connecticut.
Got Louisville, Dana Evans, another preseason All-American. But look at Louisville, their second and third leading scorers. Those are freshmen. You've got Haley Van Lith, 5'7" guard. She's shooting 50% from the three-point line. Louisville's going to be tough in the ACC.
And for DePaul, they're stepping in the place of UConn in that game. And speaking of threes, we're keeping track here on how many threes they've hit. DePaul can certainly light it up.
They played a close ball game with Texas A&M. The score was 93-91. So there were some shots going up, some threes raining in that game.
That has not been the case here in Columbia tonight.
Ooh, that one was in and out.
So close. Henderson all the way. Too much. Man, the shooting just rough for both teams. South Carolina has hit one of its last 16 shots.
Well, from the perimeter, NC State needs Kai Crutchfield to get hot. On the season, she's 6 of 9. She shot 36% last season. She made 46 threes. So if she can, start to find her rhythm and heat up, that could be a good sign for the Wolfpack.
Zaya Cook off the screen. Henderson takes it away. And jump ball, South Carolina has the possession.
This is just a grudge match. Is it still football season? Because these two are battling it inside.
44 seconds left in the half. Beal tried to go baseline and lost it. NC State has taken advantage of some South Carolina shooting woes to take this lead.
But the
Kunane gets it
50-50
back.
balls. 50-50 balls are going to the advantage of NC State right now. The problem, too, with South Carolina's offense, spacing. When a team starts to defensively to really sag kind of into the paint, your offense starts to shrink. Your offense needs to spread out to give more room on the perimeter for ball movement and create those opportunities.
Zaya Cook does not get the bucket, but she does get the foul. 3.1 seconds to go until the half. Cook just 4 points here in the first half, 2 of 10 from the field.
We've seen it too many times last year. Zaya Cook is that one player. It's one momentum play, one emotional play that can get her turned up, and the rest of the team could follow suit. So when will that time happen for Zaya Cook?
Back-to-back free throws could help. Just see it go in.
And Don Staley was talking about the maturity of Zaya Cook. She didn't want to be the player of last year, taking some ill-advised shots. She didn't want to repeat the freshman mistakes.
South Carolina has won 29 straight, but it's a struggle right now in Columbia. They trail NC State at the half, 21-20. Let's get you to the studio with Kelsey and Andy. This is the SEC on ESPN. Here in Columbia, South Carolina, a top 10 battle, but it's NC State, the number 18 team on top of number 1 South Carolina at the half, 21-20. Courtney Lyle, Carolyn Peck with you. Fingers crossed we see a little better shooting out of both of these teams. Both shot in the 20 percentile in that first half.
Well, it's been an offensive struggle, and when you look at South Carolina, they have 11 offensive rebounds, 0 second chance points. So even when they're rebounding, not able to finish the shot, and then they've been out of sync offensively. Can they find a rhythm against this NC State defense?
NC State was able to take the lead into the locker room. What did you see from them that you liked that allowed them to get up on the number 1 team in the nation?
Well, they've kept South Carolina off balance. Their defense has not been something where South Carolina can sit back and pick apart, and this is how we're going to get the ball inside to Aaliyah Boston or come off ball screens. And it's really kept South Carolina disjointed. And then NC State has been in attack mode. They've been the aggressor because they're winning the paints and the point. They are up by 2, 16-14 against South Carolina.
South Carolina is a team that thrives on paint points. They average over 53 paint points a game. Not the case so far tonight, not on track to at least, just 14 points in the paint. Boston showing her range. Aaliyah Boston with just 6 points.
Well, at some point, South Carolina has to say, okay, I have got to change my offensive plan of attack if NC State is going to stay packed in the paint. I've got to hit some face-up jumpers to give my offense some room.
Hey, how good was Kayla Jones, though, late in that first half for NC State?
Very aggressive attacking the basket. And Kayla Jones is used to playing inside. Now, was thinking that she was going to go out to the 3 and play this season, but with Jada Boyd being out, she is showing that, hey, she has not forgotten how to play that forward position.
It was announced before the game that Jada Boyd is out for this game with a meniscus issue that she actually suffered in their last game against NC Central. Still had 13 points in that game. They are hopeful they'll get her back soon, but just not tonight.
Keep an eye on Elisa Cunane and Aaliyah Boston. They are battling, swapping blows down low.
It's going to be NC State ball. It was kind of a matchup that we focused on to start this game was Elisa Cunane, who was an All-American last season, an All-ACC first-team selection, going up against Aaliyah Boston, the National Freshman of the Year and the Lisa Leslie Award winner.
Cunane, she is such a versatile post player and worked on her strength in the offseason. Even being quarantined with COVID, her dad built her some box jumps, and we asked her about that. She got a big smile, and she's like, oh, yeah, my dad is so proud. He still was continuing to find ways for her to train, even though she was quarantined at home.
A lot of times with this NC State team, you'll see Wes Moore go 4 out, 1 in, and they're relying on Cunane to work down low in the paint. There it is. Boom.
going against Aaliyah Boston after she has experienced some success. Will NC State continue to go back inside to Canaan?
Zaya Cook for three. First three-pointer we've seen from South Carolina.
Well, knowing Dawn Staley and how she coaches, she is trying to start the game, establish paint points, paint points, paint points. But when NC State has taken that away, I believe now she has taken off the shackles and said, okay, guards, you're free to let it go. If you're open on the perimeter, knock down shots.
Henderson misses, and Brown-Turner escapes with it. Here's Reina Perez. Oh, misses the bunny. Second opportunity, no.
Victoria Saxon, I'm going to start calling her Windex. She's the cleanup person on the glass.
Can we get her a sponsorship?
Elisa Canaan battling down low, really giving just a little shoulder shimmy to the inside, and then they had the baseline pivot. And then Zaya Cook, I told you, it's a matter of time. She's going to find that one moment to heat up for South Carolina, and a lot of times the rest of the team then light up when Zaya Cook gets going.
South Carolina ended the half 1 of 18 from the field. The shooting been a little bit better here. NC State leads at 26-25 here in the third quarter. Oh, Bree Beal just wide open. Blocked by Canaan.
But you saw the lack of spacing. There were 3 NC State players in the paint.
Henderson to Beal, using that physicality. You love Bree Beal.
I do. I love me some Bree Beal. Bully ball. That's it. She attacks the basket, uses her strength, and's got a great power game.
We've got a little bit more flow in the game here in the third quarter. Oh, look at Canaan just battling on Boston. And it pays off.
And that's what I have liked about Canaan's game, the versatility and the ability, the agility of going around the defense instead of trying to score over bigger players.
Well, Sunday afternoon, we'll have a college basketball triple header featuring 3 top 20 teams. Number 12, Villanova, and number 17, Texas, tip off the day at noon Eastern. Then it's the crosstown shootout rivalry game between Xavier and Cincinnati. And at 5 Eastern, 20th-ranked Kentucky, who's dropped its last 2 games, is going to look to rebound against Georgia Tech in Atlanta. All 3 games on ESPN and the ESPN app.
I had the pleasure of doing Big Blue Madness and talked to Coach Calipari, and he said we need to fail fast. And he's talking about experience some adversity early. And I think a lot of times he can get the players' attention. And the thing I think Kentucky needs to do is understand shot selection. There's a 3. There's a 3.
It's a
Kentucky,
2. It's a 2. It was short.
Oh, man.
I know.
I was talking about the 3s with Kentucky because the Kentucky men, they're shooting 19% from the three-point line. We don't want to see that tonight. We want to see both of these teams get hot from beyond the three-point line.
Cook working on Crutchfield. Swats it away, gives it up to Boston. Me here. Cunane's got a little extra effort behind her here in this third quarter.
I'm sure Wes Moore challenged her at halftime. She's got to get more involved in the offense.
Up to Grissett. Lily Grissett.
Now, I like South Carolina running in transition, but I don't like their spacing. There's not designated lanes. There's nobody running hard straight down the middle of the floor. Got to get some organization in their transition.
Oh, man, Lily Grissett came over and tried to swat that away, but she fouls Reina Perez. You're watching ESPN's Feast Week presented by Lowe's. Back here in Columbia, NC State leading by 1. Reina Perez, finishes this under the basket moments ago. It was tough.
Nobody's stopping the ball, and so Reina Perez attacking over even a bigger Lily Grissett. The focus and the finish, and she gets an opportunity to go to the free throw line.
First half was real sloppy between these two. It's been close here in the third quarter. 7 lead changes so far here in this quarter.
NC State had come in and really established themselves in the early games of being able to shoot the three ball extremely well. I think that's what South Carolina was expecting from the Wolfpack. But what has NC State done? They've taken a page out of South Carolina's book, and they have been the aggressor getting paint points. Right now, 22 so far to South Carolina's 18.
Boston has had a real hard time scoring down low on Elisa Cunane and the rest of the Wolfpack defense. There's Boston. She's 2 of 9.
Well, the rotation, there's a lot of traffic, a lot of distractions for Aaliyah Boston when the ball goes inside.
Crutchfield with 8 seconds to work with. They get Zaya Cook on the foul.
Well, what Wes Moore is doing right now is he's challenging South Carolina one-on-one defensively. And he is either going to get to the rim or he's going to get his players to the free throw line. He's trying to accumulate those free throw opportunities, accumulate fouls.
This is the first time NC State has faced a #1 team under Wes Moore in his 8th year leading the Wolfpack. Cunane just short on the turnaround. Cook. They swing it over to Crutchfield.
She thought about the three. Yeah, Crutchfield, it cannot be a second thought. And before you catch it, you have to survey the situation, know where the defense is. Do you have time to catch and get your shot off? Or can you predict that once you catch it, the defense is there, you give them a little head fake and drive to the basket?
Ami here overshot the pass to Grissett, but there's a foul called. It's on Jakia Brown-Turner. That's her first. Lily Grissett's just drawing fouls like crazy. Well, Saturday, our noon Eastern game on ABC and the ESPN app has Justin Fields and number 4 Ohio State in East Lansing to take on a Michigan State squad coming off a big upset of previously unbeaten Northwestern. Of course, no head coach Ryan Day for Ohio State in this one. He's out with COVID-related issues. Ohio State's got to play this game, and they've got to play next week to be eligible for the Big Ten tournament or championship.
Better hope that there's a game next week, because Michigan already has had to cancel their game with Maryland this week. Will they be able to play the following week so that Ohio State can get that additional game?
Yeah, Wisconsin's kind of in the same boat there in the Big Ten. Now, that does not impact the college football playoff, though. There's no minimum. The 6-game minimum is not the same for the college football playoff. Watch out for Ami here.
Ami here. Just look, the extension up top.
Her wingspan is 6'10".
And that was, she blocked that shot and didn't even jump. She's got a tremendous vertical as well.
NC State led by a point at the half. They lead by a point now as Boston tries the three. Our State returns 4 starters. Kai Crutchfield is the new face there at the point guard position, not a new face to NC State as Cunane hits. Dawn Staley talked to us about how she knew this year was going to be different. They lost a couple of starters. They've got that #1 recruiting class from last year returning as sophomores. And she said being different doesn't mean that it was going to be bad. It's just going to be different.
Well, and the biggest thing, you have talent, but you don't have the experience. You know, when you had Ty Harris and Kiki Herbert-Harrigan, those are players that have been with Dawn Staley for 4 years. You had last year's recruiting class was #1 in the country that was coming in. They were all freshmen. Now they're sophomores, but they don't have the full gamut of experience that you got from seniors.
Canane goes up and gets the foul called on Grissett.
But look, talking about experience, just the post move, gathering, giving a little baseline dribble to just make Aaliyah Boston bite, and then coming back to the middle.
We've already seen all the different pieces NC State has. Canane, a big part of that. This team was picked to finish 2nd in the ACC behind Louisville.
And when we talked to Wes Moore and talked about Elisa Canane being able to stretch the defense and shoot the three, and he's like, yeah, but she can't forget she still is a back-to-the-basket post player as well. That is part of her arsenal. And when she establishes that, then to demonstrate the face-up game as well is a good balance for NC State.
Canane 3 of 4 from the field here in the second half. Me here. Just look at how NC State is packing it inside on South Carolina.
And that's a great point, Courtney, because, and look at the hands of the defense. They're not reaching in, just hands up. Hands up. Makes it really hard for Ami here to even get the basketball up for an opportunity to get a shot.
Less than a minute to go here in the third quarter. Perez drives and kicks to Crutchfield.
We need those threes to fall.
Yes, we do.
Just so that we can donate. I'm not pulling for one team or the other, just to add the donations. You look, 3 defenders around Aaliyah Boston.
Boston trying to hustle to get that rebound, but NC State's going to have 4.4 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. They have not made it easy for her.
And this is exactly what NC State wants. When you're playing the #1 team in the country, not only you have the lead going into the fourth quarter.
They led at the half. They lead now. NC State on top of the #1 team in the nation, 36-33. Start of the fourth quarter here in Columbia. Erin Bath is an assistant coach for Wes Moore at NC State, and her family is one that has also been affected by cancer.
Erin shared with me that her mother was diagnosed on January 11th of 2019 to breast cancer. She had a double mastectomy in March, but then going back to the doctor, she is in remission. She went back to the doctor to talk about the post-op treatment in May 3rd of 2019, and July 2nd, the follow-up with the surgeon, no cancer. And so now, because of cancer research, Erin Bath's mom, Joyce Dixon, is in remission from cancer.
We hope that if you can give anything, whether it's $1 or $10, please donate right now at v.org/donate. 100% of your donation will go to cancer research. Carolyn and I are teaming up in this game to donate $50 for each three-pointer made. So far, we only have 2 in this game, but there is still time.
We got a fourth quarter. They're going to get red hot from the perimeter. Both teams.
Letitia, Mihir is at the line for South Carolina. They have looked a little bit out of rhythm. I feel like they're missing Ty Harris, that senior point guard who just knew where everybody needed to be on the floor.
Dawn Staley talked about the calmness that she brought, but she also complimented Destiny Henderson that is not shy about getting people in the right position. But she hasn't had the experience now of this being her team. You're not looking over your shoulder that if I don't get it right, Ty Harris is coming in. Now it's on the shoulders of Destiny Henderson, and this is a growing opportunity, and there's no better place to do that than in a top 10 struggle basketball game.
South Carolina already has a ranked win this season. They defeated Gonzaga in their last game. This is the first time NC State this year is facing a ranked team, and it's the #1 ranked team. Grissett on the block. Crutchfield gives it back to Kanane, who has been just brilliant in the second half.
We talked about Destiny Henderson taking over. This is a terrific read by Henny by recognizing the defense is going to rotate over. Two players rotated over, and there on the backside, Lily Grissett available for the layup.
Carolina trailing by 1. They trailed by 1 to NC State at the half. Have not lost a game in their last 29 games. They come in on a 29-game win streak. Boston drains it. Another 3.
There you go. There's a 3. You know, we didn't expect all the threes to be coming from the centers, but I don't care who they come from in this game.
First 3 of the season for Aaliyah Boston.
She steps back, and Courtney, is she behind the men's three-point line? Big girl's got some range.
She can take it. She can step back. Not afraid. She's been working on it. She spent a lot of time during quarantine back in St. Thomas, where she's from, in the gym working on her range.
Well, you know, she was getting more comfortable shooting it last year. That's a good take by Kayla Jones again.
Jones leading NC State with 12 points, 4 rebounds.
All 5 players for South Carolina on one side of the floor. Spacing.
Henderson on the floor fighting for it.
Just the hard cut. Raina Perez was the one who scored the basket. It was Kayla Jones that made the read from up top.
Raina Perez has been a big addition for NC State, a grad transfer, spent 4 seasons at Cal State Fullerton, was the 2020 Big West Player of the Year, got the start tonight because Jada Boyd is out with injury.
And Raina Perez has been a score-first, pass-second point guard, but she has fit in nicely. Oh, there's a good take by Jakia Brown-Turner.
8 points for her, a career-high 12 rebounds for Brown-Turner. NC State back on top by 2. Nami here, ties it.
This game has really played into the hands of NC State for the first 3 quarters. Now you're starting to see signs of the strength of South Carolina, especially finishing on second chance opportunities.
Perez. Crutchfield. Kayla Jones just flew out of nowhere.
The shot clock did it reset? Went to 14.
Kami here comes out with it. This is Grissett. And a blocking foul called on Raina Perez. Excuse me, no, that's Jakia Brown-Turner.
The block, Lily Grissett attacking the basket. We saw Lily Grissett come alive last season. She had really did a terrific job of getting fit. She had been coming back from an Achilles injury, or hamstring, and now that she has gotten herself in great shape, going back to playing at that 3 position and really having the ability to play the 3 and still rebound from that wing spot. That's been a great strength for South Carolina.
Won't get either. Jump ball, and NC State has the possession arrow pointing their way.
This is what you want early in the season, a nail biter. It hasn't been the prettiest of games, but now it's when both coaches really can turn it up. Now the execution, the strategy, who can win out?
Reyna Perez trying to go over the defender.
There's just too much size inside for South Carolina.
Great eyes by Ami here to seek her set.
But neither team able to create any kind of distance.
South Carolina's bench has been huge. 19 bench points for Carolina, none for NC State. Brown Turner banks in another 3.
Add 'em up, add 'em up.
4 total 3-pointers now in this game. That's a 2 from Boston. And South Carolina's bench wants the 3. All the assistants stood up.
I think she's got a size 13. I think the toe was on the line.
Cook found herself underneath the basket.
She's got to check the numbers. If she didn't have an easy shot, pull that back and let the rest of your team get down the floor.
Lily Grissett is moving real slowly right now for South Carolina. Less than 5 minutes to go. 1-point game here in Columbia. Less than 5 minutes to go in this one. South Carolina leading by a point, and NC State is the one that's leading in paint points. Elisa Cunane is the one that's leading in the paint battle. It's kind of been the opposite of what we thought going into this game.
It really has, and NC State has really done a good job of clogging the paint for South Carolina, and everything that Aaliyah Boston has been able to do inside, it's not come easy. Letitia Emahir has really done a nice job of forcing and attacking and getting on the glass, and even we saw her drop a couple of dimes. She found Lily Grissett underneath and really forcing the action for South Carolina to try to produce some paint points.
South Carolina comes into this game having won their last 29 games. That is in jeopardy now as it has been close. The largest lead tonight for either team has been only 6 points.
South Carolina came out of the timeout in a 3-2 zone to really kind of break the rhythm of NC State.
Cunane swatted it away.
You know, what Destiny Henderson and the other guards have got to get comfortable with is they can extend the passes. They can throw passes a little bit higher to the post players of South Carolina, because these women can go up and go get it.
Second foul on Cunane. Boston for 2. Ami here. So much traffic. NC State has done a great job of defense down low.
Just trying to take away second chance opportunities, because when you've got rebounders inside like Emahir and Lily Grissett, Aaliyah Boston was coming in there as well. NC State won that battle. Again, South Carolina in that 3-2 zone. So now, can they cover the shooting of NC State on the perimeter?
3 seconds called on NC State.
Just not a lot of spacing for the offensive action, ball screen action for South Carolina inside.
It's Brown Turner. They swing it around to Reina Perez. Sinks it.
It's another three, Courtney Lyle.
Get the donations ready. $50 a three going to the V Foundation from Peck and I. Each.
Reina Perez with the ball movement against the zone of South Carolina. Just the extra pass. And Letitia Amahir late closing out. Shoot or shoot. Perez knocks it down.
Henderson, a quick shot in the lane. It won't go. It'll stay with South Carolina. Boston. Jump ball.
Yeah, there's no give in NC State. Their starters have played the majority of this game. They have very sparingly used the bench, and the energy is still there for the Wolfpack.
They say it stays with the Gamecocks. NC State led by a point at the half. Both teams shot in the 20s in the first half. That number hasn't moved very much. It's been a sloppy game. NC State looking for its first win over a ranked opponent since the last time, over ranked number one. Since the last time they faced a number one team, which was back in 2007, but before Wes Moore took over the program.
And Cody, you look at these two teams. NC State was averaging 100 points. South Carolina 93 coming in. They haven't even gotten to 50 yet each.
Just 2 minutes to go here in Columbia. Reina Perez feeding Cunane. And she's fouled by Boston. How big has Reina Perez been getting the start tonight?
She has been fantastic. She's made terrific decisions. You see there where she sees that she has an opening to get the ball to Cunane in order to attack the basket and go straight at Aaliyah Boston.
We'll have the second game of the 19th annual Women's Jimmy V Classic tomorrow. You can see it at 6:30 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app as number 5 Louisville takes on number 20 DePaul. And also during halftime of that game, you're going to see the WNBA Draft Lottery.
That's going to be fun. This WNBA season, they played in the bubble down at IMG.
The Wubble.
The Wubble. But it was some great basketball. And the best part about it is there was basketball, women's basketball on just about every night of the week.
Kayla Jones with a big rebound. 90 seconds left in regulation. NC State on the cusp of an upset.
And really, down the stretch, the one thing that NC State needs to do, use the shot clock take care of the basketball. They don't need to take any early ill-advised shots and really continue to try to attack, because more times than not, when they attack the basket, they're either getting there or they're getting a chance at the free throw line.
NC State 2-17 all time against number one teams. Haven't knocked off a number one since 2007 in the ACC tournament. Kayla Jones is all over it right now. Hustles to get the rebound, and the Wolfpack has another chance. Not so fast, says Zaya Cook.
There's no quit in number one, Zaya Cook. She's going to play all the way to the end. Now South Carolina doesn't have to foul. What they have to work on is just getting a stop.
So they're going to take a timeout here. NC State up by 2.
Zaya Cook says this game's not over. She's playing at home. She's trying to protect that number one ranking.
Afternoon, we'll have a college basketball triple header featuring 3 top 10 teams. We start with Villanova and Texas at noon. We'll cap the action at 5 Eastern with Kentucky and Georgia Tech in Atlanta. All 3 games are on ESPN and the ESPN app. Big things on the line here in Columbia. South Carolina has won 29 straight games. That is in jeopardy. Meanwhile, NC State looking to extend a 29 straight regular season non-conference winning streak. This would be their 3rd win over a number one team.
And the one thing NC State needs to do, they've got to take care of the basketball, use the clock, and really find an opportunity to attack. Unless it's a wide open 3.
Like that one?
Knock it down, yeah! Kayla Jones.
South Carolina running out of time, and it's an offensive foul on Lily Grissett. South Carolina hasn't lost since March of 2019, and they're 15 seconds away from dropping one to NC State.
And NC State, Kayla Jones, ice water, inner veins, knocks down the 3.
NC State ball with 15.7 seconds left to go in this one. South Carolina's win streak in jeopardy right now. They have won their last 29 games. Gamecocks have a foul to give.
Well,
NC
they
State
need
just
to go
took over after that offensive foul by South Carolina.
Is there another timeout called?
Not sure what's going on.
But still, with 15 seconds left to go and South Carolina a foul to give, they need to foul right away. And then they've got to foul again so that they can go ahead and get NC State to the free throw line so that they can create, if they can't get the steal, so they can get another possession. Make this game extend.
Brown Turner on the inbounds for the Wolfpack. Perez running away from Henderson. And that'll be the foul to give.
So now again, try to create either a 5-second call, a steal, or foul right away, South Carolina.
Cunane, that took a long time. She is fouled. 11 seconds now on the clock. And Elisa Cunane will head to the line. 12 points on the evening. She's 6 of 6 from the free throw line tonight.
Yeah, 89% free throw shooter.
And NC State has really made it tough on South Carolina tonight. Wolfpack with its largest lead here with 11 seconds left, and timeout is called.
When you look at what NC State has done, and done so with a short bench, one of their starters is out. Jada Boyd not playing tonight. Kayla Jones moving from the 3 back to the 4. Reina Perez starting for the first time for NC State and really has handled things extremely well. And what NC State did is they played the way South Carolina normally does, attacking the paint.
Last time South Carolina lost back in November of 2019 versus Indiana. Aaliyah Boston will try to put up the 3. Westmore talked to us about what does this team do when they don't have a good shooting night? How do they respond? Tonight has been one of those nights. NC State shooting 29% from the field, but they have found a way to get on top of the #1 team in the nation.
Well, and when I asked Elisa Cunane about that, I said, you all now more of a 5 out, 1 in, or you're shooting the 3s? And she said, no, we just take advantage of what the defense gives us. And so if they're not making perimeter shots, he said, we've got to play better defense. We've got to take the ball to the basket, and we've got to be willing to make the extra pass. They've done that tonight.
And NC State is going to be rewarded for their efforts. A win over the #1 team in the nation for the 3rd time in program history.
It was a
South Carolina's
defensive struggle. Both teams didn't shoot the ball well, but NC State grinded it out, and especially winning that battle, the points in the paint.
South Carolina's streak ends at 29 straight wins. They lose today 54-46 to NC State. Let's get you to the studio with Kelsey Riggs and Andy Landers. We'll have an interview when we come back to Columbia. Kelsey, thank you. We are joined by NC State head coach Westmore. Coach, you just knocked off a #1 team. What was the biggest thing that your team did to get the job done?
Well, again, it starts with Boston. She's such a great player, and we hadn't counted on her knocking the 3s down like she did. But I thought we did a really good job of swarming around her. I thought we did a pretty good job on the boards. I know it wasn't perfect, but they're such a great offensive rebounding team. Transition, they're great in transition. They're great off the bounce. I'm just really proud of our players. We lost Jada Boyd this week. She's our best athlete on the team. And to come in here, we kind of stuck with the veterans, and they played a whole lot of minutes. But hopefully we can get the younger players some experience. But I'm just so proud of this team. I have great respect for Dawn Staley, what she did at Temple, the program she's built here. It's a great win for our program, obviously, but it's early in the year. We've got a long ways to go.
Coach Moore, you talked about not having Jada Boyd, but you were able to beat South Carolina in the points in the paint, a team that normally averages 53 points a game in the paint. How were you able to do that?
Well, like I said, I thought Lisa Canane did a great job, but I think it was a team effort. We really tried to give her a lot of attention, Boston a lot of attention. Again, she's a great player. So I just thought we did a pretty good job of swarming around her and packing it in some, and knowing who was good off the bounce, and maybe who we could maybe gamble on a little bit on the perimeter. So I thought our kids did an unbelievable job. I couldn't be prouder of them, and I'm just so – this is such a big win to go on the road and beat the #1 team in the country. And shorthanded, so to speak. So we may not practice real hard tomorrow.
Coach Moore, you mentioned Jada Boyd not being out. We saw Reina Perez in the starting lineup. What did she give you tonight?
Yeah, thank goodness for her. We miss Ace Koenig, a kid that was our point guard for her last 3 years of her career. we miss all three of those seniors that came in off the bench for us after having major injuries, and they came back in different roles. Now we go to the bench. We're going to a lot of freshmen, and so we kind of, again, stuck with the veterans tonight, but later on I got a lot of confidence in those freshmen as well. But we need Jada Boyd for sure, but not sure exactly how long she's going to be out, and we just got to try to hold it together and bring those young players along so they can help us and give us some depth.
And, Coach, one other player, Kayla Jones, you had at the beginning of the year asked her to move from the 4 to the 3. Now she had to move back to the 4. Can you talk about how impressive she has been with her versatility?
She just got a big heart now, and, my wife is from a little bitty town in North Carolina, Jamesville, North Carolina, and believe it or not, that's where Kayla Jones is from. So for once, I got a break. I had a little bit of home cooking there. But, I'm just so proud of KJ. She's had, she suffers some knee pain all the time, and she just had to play a lot of minutes, but she just kept battling. And when you got kids like that, and, after winning the ACC championship last year, the tournament, I think these kids, they have a lot of confidence, and they battle, and that's what they did tonight.
Coach Moore, thank you, and congratulations on taking down the #1 team in the nation.
Thanks so much.
NC State gets the job done 54-46, the third time in program history, the first time since 2007 that NC State has knocked off a #1 team, and they did it on the road.